The Christian did not make it. Okay. Fortunately, the doctors did what they could.
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Welcome back. Welcome.
This is not real, right? Okay.
Courtney Killer. Courtney Clenny is back at the prison craving Colombian Coca-Cola and a footlong. We're going to keep diving into this wild case of hers. Not only did she fatally injure her boyfriend over a sandwich, Courtney was previously a bodybuilder, so I don't think Christian had a chance. No wonder he was always beaten, battered, and stabbed up. We are going to look a little into her previous lifestyle. Let's get this party started. Courtney was living it up and bought $1 million home. So Courtney, while she was in Hawaii and rehab and out, she bought $1 million home close to her mother. She wanted to be close to her mother. And OnlyFans, Killer, put her $1 million home up for sale just days before the 3rd anniversary of the tragic fatal incident. So let's scroll here. Are these photos? Let's see if we can look at some photos. This is the home here. Beautiful home in Texas. Nice big home. Let's see if there's some more photos here. Scroll over 1 second. There we go. Okay, that's Courtney and Christian on vacation. They were jet setting around the world. That is the infamous elevator fight between them. And that's the murder scene. We'll go past that. Courtney and her parents in court. You know, her parents were arrested for accessing Christian's laptop and allegedly trying to get rid of evidence. And that's Courtney at the day of the crime. And Courtney in better times when she just needed a hit of her vape. A lot of you in the chat have pointed out the similarities between Sarah Boone and Courtney Clenny, and I can't unsee them. They're just, they won't go away now. The fact, except she's Sarah if Sarah had money. Courtney Clenny lived the life that Sarah only dreamed of. And today, that's what I wanted to talk about, is the lifestyle that she was privy to prior to her arrest and detainment. She's been there for going on 5 years, like Sarah as well. Okay, here it says she purchased the 4-bedroom, 4-bath home on June 17th, 2022, after it went on the market the month before with the listing of $1.1 million. Clenny ended up paying over asking and plunking down $1.3 million for the 3,230 square foot hillside property. Beautiful home. Now, the U.S. Sun can reveal the house was put on the market a little over a week ago for $1,399,000. But just weeks after signing the deal, she was arrested. She was arrested for Christian Obumseli's murder while undergoing rehab in Hawaii. According to an online listing, the property is tucked away on a, quote, peaceful cul-de-sac. I don't think it'll be so peaceful if Courtney lived there. Features include a media room, game room, a pool, and decks in the backyard. Perfect for entertaining. Courtney had big plans. The U.S. Sun can confirm Clenny is still listed as the current owner. However, she has never been able to enjoy the property as she was denied bail and has spent almost 3 years behind bars at the time of this article. A homestead destination, also known as homestead exemption, was also filed for Clenny on July 31st, 2023. It protects a homeowner's equity in their primary residence for certain types of creditors and lawsuits. Obumseli's family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Clenny, which is still ongoing through the courts. Records from her case show she was making lots of money selling adult content, as prosecutors insisted she was a flight risk. And we've previously discussed her OnlyFans career, which also included Christian. The state attorney's office just notes that Courtney made close to $3 million from her OnlyFans adventures and endeavors. That was in 2020 and 2021. And during the pandemic, there was a lot of people in the house, so those type of websites received a lot of traffic. She then banked more than $300,000 before August 2022, when she was arrested and her account was shut down. Clenny was popular on OnlyFans, and she still has 1.8 million followers on Instagram, which hasn't been updated since before the crime. Okay, this is good. They're going to talk about Courtney's history. The model previously stabbed her boyfriend in the leg during an earlier violent fight and once threatened to delete him. Prosecutors have alleged. Prosecutors feel they have a strong case. Yeah, have you guys tuned into the interrogation and familiarized yourselves with the case? And how do you feel about the strength of it? Do you think Courtney talked too much in the interrogation? Prosecutors feel they have a strong case as video footage emerged of Clenny hitting Obumseli during an earlier argument in the building. Clenny's defense attorneys insist they have evidence that will prove she acted in self-defense when he passed away, and she launched the knife at him from across the room. In comparison to what the state is alleging, is that she lunged it in his chest. And we'll talk about her defense because they're bringing in pigs to test pigs' skin to see if a knife can just penetrate. What do you think? If you're 10 feet across the room and someone throws a kitchen knife at you, they would have to be like a circus knife thrower, a magician, to be able to throw that like a little, one of those little stars, you know, those metal stars with the pointy edges. Never mind. But they would have to be a professional to throw a knife from across the room. And I don't know, but prosecutors allege that they have reports from medical examiners that state Obumseli was left with a stab wound that went 3 inches into his chest. That would not have been caused by Clenny just throwing the knife 10 feet away in the kitchen like she claims. But Clenny's attorneys, they're firing back. Clenny's attorney, Sabrina Puglisi, previously told The Sun her team has evidence that contradicts the medical examiner's reports. Quote, I 100% believe the evidence supports that she was acting in self-defense on that day, she said, end quote. Quote, we hired a knife throwing expert and we have done demonstrations on the closest thing you can find to the skin of a human, end quote. Using the skin of a hog, she claimed the team has, quote, done demonstrations to prove that, quote, it absolutely can be done, meaning you can toss a knife from across 10 feet and it can land 3 inches into your body. To all my people out there, especially my medical people, my RNs, nurses, anyone in the medical field, what do you think? Have you seen injuries like that before? Is it possible to get a 3-inch wound in a downward motion from a tossed? Quote, she goes on to say, quote, I mean, even I threw the same knife from the distance and I was able to hit and get it into the hog. And I was able to hit it and get it into the animal. So it can be done. So she's saying that she got it into the hog easily. What do you think? Later, we will look at the knife throwing expert and the demonstration of him throwing a knife at a hog. Puglisi goes on to say, quote, we have our own defense medical examiner who will testify that he believes that is incorrect, that you absolutely could throw this knife and it could go into that depth. She also admitted that Clenny and Obumseli had a, quote, toxic relationship and that they should not have been together, end quote. And Courtney often said that through the interrogation. I mean, we really shouldn't be together, you know. Is my boyfriend alive? Is he dead? Is he dead? Yeah, you know, we shouldn't be together. I was supposed to walk my dogs today. We were supposed to go to the dog park. What I really need is a hit of my vape. So the Sun also goes out to lay out a detailed timeline, and it says these are key dates that we need to know before the trial. So I'm going to read them to you to make sure that you're caught up. Let's get this party started. Clenny and Obumseli met in 2020 and moved to Miami together in January 2022. Here are the key dates that you need to know. That's important because prosecutors calculated that Courtney in 2020 made $1.8 million on her OnlyFans with Christian, and she met him in 2020. The following year, she made $1 million. Since then, since she's not giving content anymore, she's still making maybe $300,000, I believe they said, but it's nowhere near it was when her and Christian were making their content together. July 2021, Clenny is arrested in Las Vegas for a domestic battery on Obumseli. So I guess what goes on in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. March 2022, Clenny allegedly told friends that she no longer wanted to be with Obumseli, claiming he, quote, is not really what you guys think he is. Clenny's friend, Ara B, told Investigation Discovery. So she's going and telling her friends that she doesn't want to be with him, that he isn't really what he seems to be. And I think by that she means a nice guy, because everyone thought Christian was just such a nice guy. He was non-confrontational. He was easygoing. So she's telling them like, no, he's not what you think, that I guess he's not such a nice guy. The pair allegedly broke up for a few days, but Obumseli moved back into their Miami apartment on April 1st, 2022. April 2nd, 2022, cops responded to a call about a disturbance and arrived to find that Clenny had kicked Obumseli out of the penthouse. On our last episode, we went over that footage in the lounge of their apartment where Courtney was talking to the cops, and he was just looking at her and he said, "Have you been drinking today?" So according to this, one day after Christian moved back into the home, they were fighting again, and she was calling the cops on him to get him arrested. And he was sleeping in like an elevator room. We saw pictures of that on the previous episode. Okay, where were we? The cops arrived to find that she kicked him out of the house, and allegedly he tried to follow her into the elevator. Clenny asked cops for a restraining order against Obumseli, claims he stalks her. Obumseli later returns to the apartment and they seem to patch things up. So one day into them reconciling for their love, Courtney wants a restraining order and they're arguing and fighting. But by the end of the day, Christian's back home and they patch it up and everything's okay. And this seems like a common cycle between the two of them throughout their relationship. Fighting, breaking up to make up, essentially. Make up to break up. April 3rd, 2022. Clenny calls her mother at 4:43 p.m. and again at 4:49 p.m., during which her mother says she heard shouting and her daughter was telling Obumseli to leave the apartment. At 4:57 p.m., Clenny called 911 after Obumseli was stabbed. Cops arrived at 5:04 p.m. to find her drenched in blood. Quote, according to the comments made to ID and Obumseli, he's curled up on the floor but still alive. Paramedics arrive and later he's declared deceased. Clenny is then interviewed by the police and admits to causing the fatal injury. Okay, so let's backtrack and get this right. Kind of like Sarah Boone, she would kick him out and then invite him back and have some sort of altercation and call the police on him. So on this particular time, April 2nd, he came home, back to what he thought was home. They had an argument the very next day. She calls the police. The police come. She requests a restraining order, but they made up that night. We saw that footage on episode 1. Go back and check it out. That's when the detectives thought Courtney was inebriated as she was just talking in circles. But they made up that night. After they made up, he goes out the very next day to a popular Subway sandwich here in America, a sandwich shop. Gets her favorite sandwich. According to her, he knew exactly what I wanted. He knew every ingredient that I wanted. So he gets her favorite sandwich, but since he didn't turn on his location to pinpoint where he was, she was livid. By the time he got back, that sandwich cost him his life. And now, for her, it's the most expensive sandwich that her $1 million could buy. This timeline is going to be critical during trial. If Courtney was afraid of her life, why did she allow Christian back in the home that evening? Okay, so April 4th is also critical. The following day, a search warrant was issued for her phone, emails, and other records. Now that's important because remember the ponytail detective come to Papa, the one who wanted to give Courtney a hug when she said, "Oh, Christian's dead. Can I have a hug? Can someone hug me?" And he waved his hands like, "Come to Papa." He and his partner, well, in my mind, it was him. They let Courtney go free. They let her go home that day. She went home, and the next date on the timeline is August 4th. Sorry, I'm getting my chair adjusted. August 4th, 2020. So Courtney goes back home. She, from what we saw in the article we just read, she purchased a home. She just went on to live her life for 4 whole months. But she entered rehab in Hawaii, a nice swanky rehab facility that she was in, and she was arrested there. So remember that for your timeline. After the incident, Courtney had 4 months to be free. She had 4 months of freedom to be free. August 4th, she was charged with 1 count of second-degree deletion. A few days later, August 9th, she was arrested at the rehab facility. Sidebar, shout out to Sub Rosa, who said Courtney must have been on that premium Colombian Coca-Cola. She was at the facility to recover from substance abuse and PTSD. Shout out to everyone who has challenges or who is in recovery, and take it one day at a time, one step at a time. Someone loves you. Always remember that. I think we all have a bit of PTSD after listening to these cases, especially hanging out on the Boone farm. So who else has PTSD, I'm sure, are Christian's parents, his family. They, for those 4 months, fought for Courtney's arrest. It was unsettling to them that she got away with this. So they kept Christian's name in the headlines. They did not let this case go cold. And for that reason, Courtney was arrested. Now, they're suing Courtney, the millionaire, the OnlyFans Subway sandwich deleter. They're suing her. And hopefully they get some compensation. Whether she's found guilty or not, civilly, she should be accountable. Let me know below. If she isn't found guilty criminally, then she should pay civilly. A lot of us in the Sarah Boone case really wish that there was an order for Jordy's family to receive any income or monies that Sarah may receive from this family law case, from any future endeavors, just anything, just so that the family can get compensated. But let's get into this article about the lawsuit that Christian Obumseli's family has filed against Courtney. So the article reads, OnlyFans model accused, better known as the Sandwich Slayer, accused of stabbing her boyfriend, is sued by the deceased man's father. And he's simply suing Courtney for negligence. And this is a photo of Courtney and her mugshot on August 22nd when she was finally arrested. The Miami OnlyFans model, accused of deleting her boyfriend, faces new legal difficulty after the father of the deceased man wants to sue her. So, Courtney Clenny, 26, known online as Courtney Taylor, stands accused of deleting in the second degree over the stabbing death of her then boyfriend, Christian Toby Obumseli, 27, a cryptocurrency trader. The two lived together in a posh apartment. Clenny has maintained she deleted Obumseli in self-defense. The man's father, Chio Obumseli, filed the lawsuit in Miami-Dade County Court, also listing the owners of the high-rise building where the stabbing occurred. Quote, "At all material times, Courtney Clenny owed a duty to decedent Christian Obumseli to maintain the subject premises in a safe and danger-free manner," end quote, the lawsuit states. Quote, "Courtney Clenny breached her duty to exercise reasonable care for the safety and protection of Christian Obumseli, and she acted in a careless and negligent manner," end quote. Wow. Okay, what do you guys think? The filing is light on facts and largely uses boilerplate legalese from negligence law that alleges a series of 12 distinct security failures and additional such failures attributed to negligence that are, quote, "not yet discovered." Each of those alleged failures and theorized failures is attributed to each defendant. Quote, "Courtney Clenny created and or allowed to be created said dangerous conditions. Further, Courtney Clenny failed to warn subject, buildings, residents, invitees, and the public, including Christian Obumseli, the deceased, of the existence of said dangerous conditions." The lawsuit continues. The negligence of Courtney Clenny proximately caused injury to Christian Obumseli, deceased, and directly led to his criminal attack. To all my legal people in the chat, do you agree? Do you agree that Courtney created a dangerous environment which attributed to Christian's fatal injuries and his untimely death? Leave a comment below. I would love to hear all of your theories. I'm happy that Christian's family has some attorneys to fight for them, because Courtney has some powerhouse attorneys. You know, she had millions of dollars to dedicate to her legal fund, and her father and mother as well. So there's going to be a big fight during the trial. More importantly, the lawsuit alleges that the repeat negligent security failures amounted to an, quote, "inadequate and or non-existent visible or physical deterrence to prevent Obumseli's assault." Quote, "Criminals could carry out physical assaults within subject building without fear of being caught, discovered, or prosecuted," end quote. The lawsuit claims an atmosphere was created at subject building that facilitated the commission of crimes against persons. Interesting. Obumseli's father is suing on behalf of his son's estate and is seeking damages over $50,000, including pain and suffering, past and future loss of support and services, medical care, and funeral arrangement expenses, the deceased prospective's net accumulations, and the deceased inheritable estate. Clenny has been in pretrial detention since August 2022, when she was arrested and charged with Obumseli's deletion over the stabbing that occurred in April of that year. That's not even including the previous stabbing. Judge Laura Cruz denied the defendant bail after November 2022 in a bond hearing. Prosecutors have alleged in previous court filings that Clenny netted more than $3 million from OnlyFans between 2020 and last August. More recently, the state claimed she had made $900,000 in 2020 and more than $1.8 million in 2021. The defendant's father, however, has testified that her net worth was considerably lower. Kim Clenny previously told Judge Cruz that his daughter was about $11,000 to her name currently, along with $375,000 in equity in her house. The court disagreed, finding her a flight risk and opining that the Texas-born model, quote, has no ties to Florida and ample means to leave the country were she choose to do so. The defendant has substantial funds at her disposal and the ability to make more outside of the jurisdiction of the United States. At the time of this article, a trial date has not been set, but we know that's changed now. That's why we are rewinding Courtney's case. So here at SK Wiki, this kind of does a background on all of the social media sites. It gives a background on Courtney. Let's get into it. Courtney Taylor, also known as Courtney Clenny, was born April 21st, 1996. Oh my God, Courtney was born when I was getting ready to walk the stage in high school in Midland, Texas, and later moved to Austin, Texas with her family when she was 7 years old. I didn't want to tell my age, sidebar. She lived in Los Angeles, where she currently resides. Sidebar, that was at the time of this article. We know Courtney relocated to Miami. Shout out to everybody in Florida. She is known for her work as a model, actress, and fitness trainer, and she gained prominence through her Instagram profile, where she has over 2 million followers. She is also recognized for her role in the film Everybody Wants Some, 2016. Oh, really? We'll have to look at that and check it out. She has been involved in bikini competitions, including the NPC, West Coast Classic Bikini Contest, where she achieved notable success. She also has been featured on the cover pages of various magazines, including Playboy. Ooh la la. Courtney did a movie. We'll have to check that out. I'll put a pin in that and come back to that later. Okay, wait, it looks like now is later because Courtney's been on a few shows. Courtney's fitness journey began when she started training and documenting her progress on Instagram. Within a few years, Courtney became a fitness guru on Instagram. Courtney has appeared in various TV shows and movies, including... Excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was a small human being. You know, they can be very jovial. I tried to swat it away, but that didn't work. It got even more jovial and thought I was playing with it. Okay, back to the party. I wanted to read this particular part because it details Courtney's journey, her entertainment journey, saying how she did plenty commercials, and her fitness journey began when she started training and documenting her process on Instagram. Basically, she got more likes and people following her when she posted risque pictures, so that's what made her travel down the OnlyFans route. Courtney has appeared in various TV shows and movies, including, quote, American Psycho. How fitting. Quote, The Lying Game. How fitting. Quote, Unstalkable. And Richard Linklater's, quote, Everybody Wants Some. Oh my goodness, this is a soundtrack of her life. She has also appeared in commercials for renowned brands such as Pepsi, Cirrus Logic, Celebration Church. Wow, Courtney. And Discount Dollars. Even more fitting. She has also collaborated with brands like Native. I think that's the deodorant. I've tried Native before. I have some body wash actually. Glamour Nutrition, EH Plabs, and Fashion Nova Curve. And it just goes on to detail that she was in bodybuilding and her net worth. You can pause to read the facts about Courtney, but it just came to me. During her interrogation, she mentioned something about Dexter, the character on an American TV show where he's a serial killer, and his weapon of choice is a really sharp knife. And she said something to the detectives like, oh, like Dexter, and it was so off-putting. And so to find out that she was in movies like American Psycho and The Lying Game, and she looked like she was playing a lying game in the interrogation, like Sharon Stone when she was sitting on the chair like crossing her legs. I'm gonna tell my age. Also, she was in a movie called Unstalkable, and to remember, she was really upset about Christian turning off his location. That's what started the argument, allegedly, that led up to his stabbing. She was upset that while he was out getting the Subway sandwich, she couldn't track his location because he had turned his location off. Unstalkable. Oh my god, did you guys just hear that creepy horn blare in the back from outside? Scary. Kind of scary, like Courtney, the bodybuilding, vape smoking maniac that masked it all behind this sweet little cupcake princess American sweetheart act. And it looked like it worked in the interrogation room with that one detective with the ponytail. He was so attentive and caring to her. Maybe he was playing the good guy, the good cop, but I think her crossing her legs and flashing her robe open several times kind of influenced his decision to let her go. What do you think? In my mind, I'm thinking a seasoned detective would know that a simple knife toss wouldn't equal a deep lunge like that. You know, it just, did you see the crime scene? Not only was she like a vape smoking bodybuilding maniac, but she lived in squalor as well. The apartment, the crime scene, the filth had nothing to do with the crime. There were just like loads of clothes and shopping bags. It looked like when you come home from vacation and just unload everything, and she just never put everything away. There was actually, from what I saw, no sign of Christian, like, you know, a man cave or like a little corner where a guy plays video games or just hangs out. I didn't see any room or space for him. I just pretty much saw space and junk, her stuff. The only space that I did see for him was outside by the elevator, the little cot that he slept on when she would put him out. Speaking of being put out, before that little human makes its way back in here, let's head over to the interrogation room so we can just see how Courtney was working her magic on the one detective and her excuse for that day and what she felt like when she got the news about Christian. I truly don't believe, like, Sarah, I think during her interrogation, she knew just what was going on and what she did to George. But Courtney, I don't think she really thought Christian was fatally injured that day. It happened so many times. She beat him up, allegedly. She's innocent until guilty. Everything is alleged. But she'd allegedly beaten him up so many times, stabbed him in the leg, and he always lived through everything. So she probably just thought this was another fight, that they would be okay and they'd make up again. You could see in the interrogation, you know, she was ready to go home, change, get the dogs, go to the hospital with Christian, and get her story straight.
This is not recorded, is it?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's no appropriate etiquette here. But anyway, so this room is recorded, okay? So let's just, I don't want to talk about, I mean, even if it is recording right now, what we talk about is confidential. They can never use it, but I prefer that we just not talk about
Right.
the case. But
after hours of sitting 1 or 2 feet away from this cop and flashing her robe open and crossing her legs, he's trying to ease her into what's to come. But first, he wants to update her on the puppies and just, you know, let her know that everything's okay.
But listen, your dogs are fine. I'm on it. We're going to get you home as quickly as we can. All right? I know I am straightforward with you. There are some concerns about your mental health to make sure that you're okay, because this is very traumatic. So there may be some steps taken there. Yep, come on in to make sure that you're okay. And that's it. But we're getting you home, okay?
Okay.
So, have you met the sergeant?
I have.
Okay. Come on in. So this will now be recorded, okay?
Okay.
But if at any moment I feel that they should stop recording, I will tell them that, because obviously I'm here to protect you.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. Courtney, it's 10:45 p.m. right now, okay? Let's start off with... So, I have a picture. Let me know if this is Christian or not, okay? Yeah, that's Christian.
Courtney's like, that's him. I'm so shocked that she doesn't have an inkling or like a feeling in her stomach.
We have to inform you that Christian did not make it. Okay. Fortunately, the doctors did what they could. And
Christian is dead.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is not real, right? Okay. There's no fucking way.
Do you think Courtney is faking it or is she serious?
Christian died?
Watch this.
Can I please have a hug? Am I allowed to do that in here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Relax. You're fine.
No.
Calm down. Calm down. Take deep breaths.
And that was so weird. What was that about?
Just take deep breaths. You're gonna be okay?
I need to hug my mom.
I'll talk to your parents and get them over here.
I cannot be left alone in like a room by myself
You won't be.
after this. No, that's not true. That's not real, right?
It is real.
Christian is dead.
Yes.
They're not gonna lie.
I know, I just can't believe it.
I'll talk to your parents. I'll get them. I'm gonna get your parents here ASAP.
We spoke to your parents and they're trying to do everything possible to get here as soon as possible as well.
Do what?
To get your parents, for them to come over here. So they're doing everything possible right now to find a way to get down here.
The other detective, he isn't saying a thing. He's just looking at her. Courtney must feel the heat coming from the other detective because listen closely to what she says.
Deep breaths. Just take deep breaths.
I've been crying so much,
Don't.
and I just can't even cry right now.
She's been crying the entire interrogation, but when she gets the death notice,
Take deep breaths.
she can't.
Just shock. Just relax. Try to relax. And
Okay.
Courtney has given us faux tears through this entire interrogation. Her face has been so dry, she squinted her eyes, but now that she's finally heard that Christian is no longer here, she can't even squeeze out one real tear for him after sitting there and painting him as the actual perpetrator. What are we thinking about Courtney's request for a hug? Is that inappropriate? And why did she instantly reject the hug after requesting it? Reject. I'm sure Courtney really needs a hit of her vape right now. Let's watch as she processes this news that the detectives just gave her.
No.
it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Courtney, it's gonna be okay.
No, it's not. Oh my God. I wanted to be at the hospital. If anything happened to him, I just wanted to be at the hospital. I begged, can I please go to the hospital? I mean, obviously they put me in cuffs at my house, but like, I begged, can I please go to the hospital? Oh my God, our friends. Oh my God.
Courtney's not just worried about her dogs back home. She's also worried about what her friends are going to think about what she did. She's in full panic mode, but she's about to have a bit of a revelation.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be the same thing. And, yeah. And, okay, that's the last time I ever talked to him. It's the last time anybody ever talks to him. Ever. The last thing he ate was fucking Subway.
Courtney, we can't undo what's already happened, so just, this is going to be a process.
What I was saying to that other room, I said, God forbid, when, like, from far away, what if it had accidentally hit a little bit lower and he died? That's what I said.